The Boston Bruins have a huge opportunity with the injury bug once again plaguing this Bruins team. We're going to be talking about a few moves that can replace Elias Lindholm and a recent report from Elliotte Friedman that has dropped that gives the opportunity for the Bruins to claim a very interesting player off waivers. We're going to be talking about all of this news here in this video and what potential moves could be made for Elias Lindholm's replacement in this video. Before we get into it though, we know some 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. And if you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join us here on the channel. We're covering everything Boston Bruins. But without any further ado, let's get into our first topic here, which is just kind of covering the big update that we have, which is Elias Lindholm and the injury that he suffered in the Bruins last game. He missed majority of that game, only playing 12 shifts for 6 minutes time on ice, something around that. I cannot recall exactly what the amount was, but he missed the game, did not return, as you see here from this Boston Bruins tweet, and his upper body will not return to the game, and reports afterwards are kind of going into the fact that we're not really sure how long Elias Lindholm will be out, and we're not really seeing an immediate day-to-day thing. It's more of an evaluation, which is not usually the best sign for players who are coming out of an injury like this, not really having a conclusive answer right away. And of course, Tesla got to undergo. The Bruins don't want to risk anything with Elias Lindholm and whatnot, but the fact that this could be a bit of a worse injury than we thought, and something that would hopefully not stick around for too long, but has the chance to, the Bruins are going to have to make a move in correspondence because we're not going to be able to leave the gap open that Elias Lindholm leaves. And Elias Lindholm has had a pretty up and down season so far this year, and there's not really been a number one guaranteed spot for him, but the fact that we've kind of found a little home for him on the second line has been something that is definitely where he belongs, and it will be a noticeable difference with him not in this lineup. And one move, and I think the immediate one that everybody is thinking about right away, is Matt Poitras. It's time for him to get back up to the NHL. As you can see, 11 points in 12 AHL games with the Providence Bruins. Didn't really have the best of start to this Bruins season, although in the time that he was up here with Jim Montgomery, he was one of the better players in the NHL, but just really wasn't putting the puck in the back of the net, but has certainly gotten back into that rhythm in the AHL, and it's the perfect opportunity for him to come up with zero excuses. You don't even have to make any moves. You can slot him right in on that second line, right in where Elias Lindholm was at the center position, and I think that's going to be the perfect replacement for him and the perfect opportunity for Matt Poitras to really make his bounce back to the NHL and show that he's ready to stick in this lineup for the time being. And I did want to pull up this, and as you see, Elias Lindholm there in the second line with Brad Marchand and Justin Brazeau. Whether or not you put Poitras on that line, really, there should be no question. Charlie Coyle has kind of been heating up a bit lately. Johnny Beecher has been a very solid fourth line on that Cole Koepke and Mark Kastelik line, but putting Matthew Poitras here, really don't even need to change Justin Brazeau, whether or not you want to take Tyler Johnson out of the lineup, maybe put Mark McLaughlin in. There's a very good opportunity here for Matthew Poitras and for the Bruins to make this a new test and let him work under Joe Sacco for the time being. Let him work in this second line with Brad Marchand, with Justin Brazeau, and get him back into the NHL rhythm. That's what we've seriously been missing with Matthew Poitras for this time being, and we're seeing it in the AHL. It's working out well. We've seen the start. He had the AHL as well, but very, very, very good in the past few games in the Providence Bruins, and that is going to translate very well to the NHL level. But now we do have Matthew Poitras. That's the easiest in-house option that the Bruins could choose to make. But of course, there are some other options around the NHL, whether that is free agents, whether that is, in this case, waiver claims that we're going to be looking at as well. And there's a huge opportunity the Bruins have for a big claim at a very cheap price and a zero risk and a very high reward potential for this move. And I'll pull up what we have here. The report from Elliotte Friedman. Pierre Engvall and Oliver Wahlstrom have been placed on waivers by the New York Islanders. Now, Pierre Engvall, very familiar with him with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but we're not going to be talking about him today. We're going to be talking about a familiar face that I've spoken about here on the channel before, in Oliver Wahlstrom. I mentioned him in a trade, I believe, last season or in the offseason. That is a very risk-free trade to make. RFA is on a one-year deal, $1 million, 24 years old, has been in the NHL for, I believe, 6 years, have a lot of experience at only 24 years old, and the potential that he has to be on an offensive team like the Boston Bruins, rather than the New York Islanders, who play very, very passive. There is a very big opportunity here for the Boston Bruins if they do choose to go out and claim him. So Of course, it's waivers. It's just going to be transferring over the contract, $1 million. If the Bruins do decide to do this, and I'm pretty sure they have pretty high waiver priority, I shouldn't say pretty high, I believe it's in the middle somewhere. Are there teams that will probably want Oliver Wahlstrom? I would say yes, but I think that a lot of teams are going to be looking at his, not just this season, but recent seasons, and really not see a whole lot of potential in him. And when you're looking at his stats, of course, Oliver Wahlstrom this year is not looking good. 4 points, 27 games, but a lot of people are probably going to question, if he's not looking this good, why do the Boston Bruins look at him? Why are they going to even consider him as a forward to be a replacement on this team for Elias Lindholm? And such a big gap that would hold, but this is something that you would have to see longer than just this season. At 24 years old, going on 25 in about half a year, at a New York Islanders team, the experience he's had, 10 minutes time on ice a game, he really hasn't seen every aspect of his game. We haven't been able to see that with the New York Islanders. Without having an actual considerable amount of time on ice, he really hasn't been able to show in his career, really, even at 24 years old, what he's fully been made of. We've seen him at 9 years old in the intermission with the Boston Bruins. So you can search this up on Twitter or YouTube. I don't have the video here on me, but he picks up the puck, does a spin, and puts the puck in the back of the net during the intermission at the Boston Bruins game. And, this is something that will definitely hit home. I think that this is something that the Bruins are definitely going to want to look at, especially Oliver Wahlstrom now being on waivers rather than having to trade for him. Trading for him would have been pretty cheap, but now it's basically free, just the acquisition of $1 million. And if Elias Lindholm's injury is any bit, long-term, if this is any bit concerning for the future, I see no reason why the Bruins don't go out here and pick up Oliver Wahlstrom's contract for this 1 year with the RFA option after this season as well, to sign him back to numerous years, however long they want to do it. If they want to keep on going 1 year at an RFA, cheap price, he's not going to cost a lot. He's not going to turn around enough to be able to make a long-term contract. But when you're looking at his career stats as well, he has been a bit struggling the past few years, I guess we could say. 6 points last year, 4 points this year so far, only 32 games, and really hasn't had a full NHL season since the 73 and 21-22, where he did get 24 points. And that was really the extent of what we've seen from Oliver Wahlstrom. And there was a lot of promising aspects of his game then. And, Oliver Wahlstrom's a name that you hear a lot, and it's a name that has seemed like he's been in the NHL for ages and ages and ages, but only at 24 years old, and a former 11th round pick by the Islanders, and having 6 seasons of NHL experience, and not full seasons at that, but being in and around the NHL for 6 years is something that a lot of teams don't have the opportunity to go out and get for a guy who's 24 years old. And as I mentioned, the aspect that the New York Islanders are a very defensive team. They do not take very many risks, do not, really translate their game offensively. I would really like to see Oliver Wahlstrom in a full-blown offensive team, and really just nothing to lose kind of hockey style of play right now that the Bruins are going to have to soon start playing, because we've seen the struggles recently, and there's really no sign of slowing down for this team right now in the struggles. And really, any acquisition they can get is something that will help out this team. So let me know what you think the majority of the Bruins community and staff are thinking about for the replacement. Is it going to be Matthew Poitras? Is it going to be Oliver Wahlstrom? Is it going to be someone else from the AHL? Maybe a Fabian Lysell, who we haven't spoken about in this video, but still certainly a possibility to replace Elias Lindholm. But let me know what you think. There's a lot of opportunities here, and hopefully this isn't long-term, and hopefully we see Elias Lindholm back as soon as possible. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.